everybody. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Sophie Matthews, and we're just going to do a few introductions here while we wait for everybody to join us. It is 12:01 p.m. on November 13th, so we'll wait for a little bit more folks to join. But again, my name is Sophie Matthews, and I am excited to welcome you to our Young Alumni Series, Financial Visions. I have my friend Nancy over here who will introduce herself in just a second, but we are really grateful that she and Canvas are helping us out. I am thrilled to introduce you to Canvas and explain our partnership with Canvas Credit Union, but I want to go over some quick housekeeping items. We are running this event via YouTube, as you can probably tell, and we'd love for you to ask questions or comment on the material as we go. But it does operate a little bit differently than Zoom or Microsoft Teams or anything like that. So if you have a question or comment, we would love to hear it. Go ahead and use the comment section. So that is underneath the stream right now, and that is a great place for you to be able to type for us. We'll see it very similarly to as we would for a Zoom webinar. So we're going to go ahead and practice. So if you all who are watching could write and tell us what your name is, where you're watching from today, and if you are a CSU alum, where you graduated from. So I will go ahead and set that example. So my name is Sophie, watching from Fort Collins, and I graduated from CSU in 2022. So would love to have you all join as well to test that out. Perfect. Okay. Awesome. While you're testing that out, I am now going to introduce you to Nancy Patton from Canvas Credit Union. She is our speaker today. Many of our registered attendees are both CSU Alumni Association members and Canvas Credit Union members. And we just like to take a minute to thank you for your membership. Your support makes a huge difference in our CSU community and makes programs and educational opportunities like these possible. Awesome. And now I am excited to introduce you to Nancy to get us started today.
Thanks, Sophie. Yes. So hello, everyone, and welcome to our conversation about audacious financial goals. So I have to tell you that the reason this seminar exists is that Sophie said, hey, I heard this thing and I wondered if we could maybe, try something that's similar. So this class is a combination of Sophie's insights and my experience in the financial world. So I'm Nancy Patton with Canvas Credit Union, and we are going to talk about 8 tips to achieving your audacious financial goal. Our financial goals are unique, but the tactics to improve your success in achieving the goals are similar. So today we're going to share 8 specific actions you can take regardless of whether your objective is related to increasing income, having emergency savings, maybe eliminating or reducing debt. Maybe it's a plan for retirement, a financial safety net so that you can start your own business, or any other personal financial goal that you have. And then besides the specific tips that we're going to cover, there will be resources at the end, and you can use those resources to do your own research and figure out your own plan. Just want to set a little groundwork before we go too far. Besides clearly knowing what your goal is, you're going to need to analyze your personal and financial situation. So some thoughts to keep in mind as you create your goal. These thoughts are around your personality and natural tendencies. Things like, are you disciplined? Are you a self-starter? You're used to setting goals and achieving them. Are you a pretty harried single parent? Do you have fear of missing out? If that's a driving force in your life, you need to acknowledge it. So what do you have in place to help you succeed? And what are some dangers that you might need to be alert for? Besides your personal strengths and challenges, what's your current financial situation? Do you know your credit score? Do you have no savings? Maybe some savings? Who do you trust for your financial advice? So I'm not saying that you need to have all of this exactly figured out. before you can set up and start your goal. But I do hope you see value in considering both your emotional and financial position as you get started. So here are the 8 tips that we're going to cover, and we'll just go one at a time and talk about each one. There's a business book by Simon Sinek called Start with Why. And ever since I read that, I have found that thought to be incredibly impactful for the success of any new thing I attempt. If I want to learn French, I'm going to be more successful if I know my why. Maybe it's because I'm going to France for my honeymoon and I want to be more comfortable in a foreign country. If my goal is to run a marathon, well, why? Is it because my little brother did it and I can't stand to have him beat me at anything? Or because I'm stressed and the training is going to help me release physical and mental pressure? Financial goals in general bring independence and wellness, which give us options in our life. But that's way too general of a thought to be meaningful. Our goals have to have a much greater chance of success if we know our specific why. Since we're talking about financial goals, they generally fall into a couple of categories. Growth goals may be like increasing savings or net worth or increasing my credit score. Regarding debt, it's usually a reduction. Get rid of the credit card debt, get rid of all of my debt, get rid of a specific debt that is a really high interest rate and I took on at a bad time. But we need to dig deeper, not just I want to have more in my retirement account, but why do I want more in my retirement account? Is your why because you're looking at parents or grandparents who are working in their later years and you don't want to be in that position yourself? You need more than just the goal of 6 months of expenses in the savings account. Why that goal? Are there rumors of layoffs and you want to be prepared? Are you achieving a certain number that's going to help you sleep at night? Does that mean that if you have that number in savings, you'll stop fighting with your partner? Is the goal a certain lifestyle, maybe a year off to travel the world or being the first in your family to own a rental property for extra income? Your financial goal can't be just a number. 35,000 in emergency savings, 100,000 net worth by the time I'm 30, the car paid off. You need to know why this goal is important to you. Write it down. Tell someone. Make it your screensaver. Post it on the refrigerator door. Because newsflash, life gets complicated and unpredictable. And you're going to need more than a number to achieve meaningful goals. You really need to know your why. So that's our first tip. The next thing is that if you know your why, it's time to get specific. How are you going to get to your goal? In researching this presentation, I found the same goal-setting principles were suggested basically everywhere. And the accumulated wisdom of multiple financial experts is make your goal a SMART goal. A specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time-based goal will succeed where wishy-washy goals fail. If you say, yeah, I should save some money, you probably won't. And it won't be what you're really trying to achieve. Contrast that with, I'm going to save $1,200 in 1 year by having $40 every biweekly payroll because I really want to be at my sister's beach wedding next January. You have a specific total, a specific amount per paycheck, and it's measurable as you watch your savings account balance grow. You also made it attainable. Saying you were going to save $1,000 every paycheck might work for someone, but it wouldn't be attainable for most of us. The wedding made it relevant. It's your why. and it has a time schedule. So it's pretty easy to understand how to make a savings goal fit into this formula, but how about debt reduction? I will get rid of all my credit card debt in 6 months by paying $100 more than the minimum on each card every month. And I'm going to find this extra money by adding one more shift per week to my work schedule. By doing the extra shifts now, I'll have more time in the summer and I'll feel great being out of debt. So you've said specific cards, specific amounts. It's measurable, it's attainable, it's meaningful, and it's on a time schedule. Okay, these are pretty straightforward examples. If your audacious financial goal is more complex, you might need to do some research to be sure you aren't creating an unattainable goal. Nothing wrong with having it be a stretch goal, but don't make it impossible. If you're not sure how to raise your credit score, or you're confused about investing, and if that's part of your goal, you may need to talk with a banking professional or do some research and reading and find out more about the topic. We'll have resources at the end of the presentation with reputable resources about a wide variety of financial topics. So one of the aspects of that SMART goal is to be measurable. Have you heard the saying, well, if you can't measure it, you can't improve it? Or you can't manage what you can't measure. So one of those quotes was from a physicist and one from a business leader, but both are pretty clear. Without tracking, how do you know you're making progress on your goal? How do you know you've achieved your goal? Obviously, with different kinds of goals, there will be different kinds of tracking. The important thing for you to know is, what is your key measurement? If it's a savings goal, what accounts are you going to include in your measurement? For instance, at Canvas, we have a health savings account option. For my financial life, even though that money is saved and it's not used for everyday expenses, it's really not part of my emergency fund calculation. But if my goal was related to net worth, my total financial value, then I'd probably include it in measuring my success. So you need to decide which things you're going to include in your measurements. If your goal is debt reduction, are you including all of your debts? Depending on the stage of life you're in, that could be almost impossible. So maybe you need to do a two-step goal for debt reduction. First, you're going to get rid of credit card debt, and then reevaluate the numbers and get rid of the car loan debt. Keep in mind with debt reduction that almost every financial expert recommends that you simultaneously build savings while reducing debt. If you have no savings and you focus on that debt reduction, it's likely you're going to have some kind of setback that's going to require adding debt. When you're building savings at the same time as paying down debt, it helps you not get back into debt when a problem comes up. Okay, puts you in a stronger financial position. So now these are your goals, your timelines, your level of challenge. Match your personality to the level of challenge and the stretch involved and the audaciousness of the goal. And there's some other examples on the slide of how you might measure your financial goal depending on what that goal is. Our next tip, I bet you knew this was coming, is to achieve your financial goal more successfully if you act your wage. It's called having a budget or tracking spending. Okay. And I bet you're thinking, I'm going to have to sacrifice my lifestyle. I'll never have any fun. I'm going to be super frugal. No one's going to want to hang out with me. And okay, no, not true. You'll need some discipline. You'll need to know your priorities, but you're not eating bread and water in the cold and dark. This is a financial goal, not a third world prison. Let's take a look at some realistic thoughts around your lifestyle as you are going to be working on this financial goal. Let's get real about your spending. The basics are that everyone, regardless of future plans or current situations, is going to be in a better financial position if they know the truth about their money. And that's what tracking your spending and having a budget does. It gives you the truth about what you have going on, and you can manage that truth. Many people really have no idea what their money's doing. When you track your income and your spending, it tells you what you have to work with, which things you're okay with, and what you might want to change. You simply can't make forward progress with financial goals if you aren't spending less than you're making. Okay, so if you've tracked your income and your spending, you did that tough step, and you know what you have to work with. Now you need to apply that information to your goal. Did you find extra money each month that you can spend on your goal? Did you find things you want to change? Maybe something you want to eliminate? So there's an important economic concept at work here, which is called opportunity cost. Means you can only spend money once, and you are looking for the best use of your money. So if your goal is Tahiti, then you probably can't go out to eat every night, take in a concert every weekend, and still get to Tahiti anytime soon. If healthy food is a priority in your life, then that's not what you want to cut out of your budget. We can have everything. We just can't have it all at once. So if you keep your healthy eating, but give up the concert, you'll still achieve your Tahiti goal, or whatever mix of mindful spending is going to get you where you want to be. If your financial goal is any kind of stretch from your current lifestyle, you'll need to make some spending choices. Please don't make your life miserable. You'll just give up in frustration on your audacious dream. Know your priorities and make deliberate spending choices based on your values. But it all starts with tracking your money. The next tip is about automation, and I bet you've heard you should set up automatic payments, automatic savings withdrawals, automatic whatevers. And I hope you are. I hope you're doing that. But let's take a minute to reinforce why automation of your finances can be so helpful to achieving your goals. Warren Buffett says, "Do not save what is left after spending, but spend what is left after saving." This is also known as pay yourself first. And the action of automatically saving some of your income immediately when you receive it will change your financial life. The practical results of this action are that you don't see it in your account to spend. It's already saved. This can build your retirement account at work, your emergency fund, an investment account, your holiday fund, whatever bucket of savings you're growing. It could come directly out of your paycheck or be automatically transferred from checking to savings or whatever specific account you have. For many savings options, you can set up a percentage instead of a specific dollar amount, and that can be super helpful when you get a raise. You automatically get more savings when you get more income. When applied to paying bills, it means you don't make mistakes which can cost extra money, like a late fee. And it will build your credit score if you're always paying your loans on time. You may even get a rate reduction on a loan by setting up automatic payments. I know I get a small discount on my cell phone because of automatic payments. There are just so many advantages to making your financial life easier, simpler, more efficient, more productive, and less stressful with automation. But there are a couple cautions about this. When payments are made automatically, it may be harder for you to watch the details. Was your billing statement correct? Did something change on my electric bill that I should be concerned about? You also have to be certain there's going to be enough money in your account to cover those automatic payments. And with automatic savings, sometimes what we see is people are so excited about saving that they're going to send too much money to the savings account and then get in the habit of dipping into their savings to cover normal expenses. Be sure to set up a reasonable amount to move over to savings. You can always increase it if that plan is going well. In general, the advantages of automation far outweigh any problems when it comes to making your life easier with finances. All right, a little dose of reality. We're going to have to expect ups and downs, challenges. I talked about Simon Sinek earlier. He also says, always plan for the fact that no plan ever goes according to plan. Our life plans, our vacation plans, our financial plans, they just aren't going to stick to the plan. So let's plan for things not working out. You need to have some perspective about a setback that's likely going to come. How do we deal with things? How can we manage a setback when it comes? And especially if you have picked an aggressive goal, this can be very frustrating. Before reacting to a challenge, give it a few days. Did you lose your job? Were your hours cut? Maybe you received an unexpected expense. Slow down. Let the emotions settle, and then consider your response. It's likely that the challenge is a temporary one and can be overcome. You may need to set aside your goal and get through the challenge. The biggest hurdle is going to be to get back to your goal, to start saving again, to pay down that credit card that went up after you'd worked so hard to bring it down. You'll likely need to recalculate some of your goal and maybe give yourself more time. Or maybe it was such a temporary setback that no adjustments were even needed. But please note that by having a strong financial foundation, it will make it easier to get through the challenge. Yeah, you'll need to spend some of the money you saved. That's what it's for. Maybe the job you took for the higher salary is just awful. And for your mental health, you need to get out of it. And that might mean your goals need to adjust. Having a good emotional foundation is as important as your financial one. Do you have friends, family, faith, counseling, hobbies? How do you deal with your stress? And don't forget to give yourself grace. You are so brilliant. You actually planned for the likelihood of a setback on your goal. So most of our challenges are accidental. They're not intentional. Take a deep breath, get through it, and get back on track to your audacious goal. Do you know what your savings account interest rate is? Your car loan rate? Is your salary competitive? Let's look at some steps you can take in order to maximize your progress toward that financial goal. Here are some tips to help make the most of your opportunities. So most of us are going to change companies or positions during this goal process that we've set up. Negotiate your salary at every change, every step. Women in particular, study after study shows that we underestimate our work value and salary expectations. Do some research. Know what the current salaries are in your field. There's a resource slide at the end that's going to have multiple sites where you can research those salaries. Einstein called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world. And when you earn interest on your initial deposit and leave the money on deposit, the next time interest pays out, it's going to pay on the interest plus the original deposit. That's called compound interest. Making money not just on your starting money, but on the money you were given. Just hanging on to money and not letting it grow at maximum potential is a waste of our resources. Inflation eats into spending power, and you miss out on earnings growth. So that old don't keep your money in a shoebox or under the mattress, very true. Make sure you're getting the maximum possible out of the money that you've saved up. You can find calculators to research different options, and those can be based on how much time you have, how much money is available, and the earning potential that's available. The financial term for this is the time value of money. And there'll be resources again at the end where you can plug in these calculators and see what looks best for you. Whenever possible, deposit money and leave it alone, maximizing the interest that you're going to earn. Investing in the stock market has historically brought the largest return on our money. Now, there are some really big caveats with this, including the knowledge there are no guarantees and you could lose money in the market. But your key to success here is to let the money ride through the inevitable ups and downs of the stock market. So starting to invest as early as possible gives you the maximum time to absorb the variations and take advantage of growth. There's a lot of calculators out there. There's a lot of examples that talk about starting early, leaving the money alone, letting it ride it out, and the growth potential of that. These are historical trends. There are no guarantees, but this has historically been a fabulous way to grow money. So having a plan is the last tip on this slide. And this is a plan for the good financial things that come our way. I know we sometimes get hit with bad financial challenges, but we get good financial things as well. So instead of that tax return or bonus, your raise, some gift you weren't expecting, instead of it just disappearing, have a plan. It's fine to splurge a little, enjoy a financial blessing that comes, but having a plan means that you can apply at least some of that unexpected plus in your life towards your goal. And our last few tips are related to some miscellaneous thoughts and actions that can speed up the achievement of your financial goal. Now, if your goal is about increased income or more savings, then one way to get there quicker is to pick up a side hustle or a second job. Side hustles don't need to be there forever. And maybe it's not even another job. Maybe it's just picking up some overtime or extra shifts at your current job. Depending on your goal and your time expectations, extra money might be worth it. You can use your current skills, your passions, your talents, your expertise, or you could just pick up some unrelated side job. It's pretty easy to find side hustles. Just Google side hustle jobs. Make sure you're doing something legal. But there's lots of options out there to pick from. Really amazing choices that have come up in the last few years as ways to have a little money on the side and boost how fast you get to your goal. Here's another thought. Have you considered that the interest you're going to be earning on your saved money could be thought of as extra income? So savings rates on things like CDs, savings accounts, money market accounts, anything that's insured and is at a bank or a credit union, those rates change depending on the economy. So you need to keep your eyes open for the best options. There are high yield online accounts, special CD rates. I know at Canvas, we currently have a high yield money market that's paying well. You might need to do some research online. Almost every bank and credit union posts their savings rates online. So you can easily do the research and find an account, find a safe place to put your money that is actually paying a good rate. Here's another thought: small incremental change. Adding 1% to your savings plan is a relatively painless way to speed up your progress. If you had been saving $500 a month, increasing it by 1% is only $5 extra, something you probably wouldn't even notice. If you'd been paying $800 towards your debt, would an extra $8 really maybe be easy? As you move through your money goal path, watch for ways that you can bump your plan with that little incremental 1%. Lifestyle creep is a really sneaky way to derail your goal process. If you don't have a plan for the raise, the bonus, the tax return that we mentioned, suddenly that apartment that you've been happy with all along feels too small. The car that was your transportation solution suddenly should be a much nicer one. Surely, if you just eat out 3 times a week instead of only once, 3 times compared to once, that your new bonus can cover that. The financial term is marginal propensity to consume. And it just means that the more you have, the more you're likely to spend. Okay, so at Canvas, we see people all the time who make a really large salary, but are actually living paycheck to paycheck because of their spending choices. Their large income has led them into extravagant spending that they really can't afford. And this is often not just a lifestyle creep, but a lifestyle image that someone thinks they need to maintain. Finally, a tip that's become a source of frustration for a lot of young people. Home ownership has traditionally been a path for moving to financial well-being. And if that's your goal, it may take a little extra planning and perseverance to achieve that. Given today's market situations, you're likely going to need to start small. And here's a wild thought: perhaps even consider a temporary move to an area with more affordable housing, if that's part of your overall financial plan. And I wish this was a better spot. I wish I could be more encouraging about this. Just like the stock market, the home ownership has historically been a path to financial well-being. And so I hope you continue to be hopeful about that. I hope you explore your options with that. Keep in mind that the home buying industry has been very good about coming up with innovative solutions whenever there's a challenge. So please don't give up hope on that part of your financial future. Okay, I've mentioned a couple times that we have some resources for you. These are websites, and they are going to cover different aspects of your financial research. I have found Investopedia to be a wonderful resource about virtually anything financial. If there's a term I run across that I don't understand, if there's a financial concept that I don't quite understand, Investopedia has great articles. You just search like you would Chat GPT or anything, put into the search what you're looking for, be as specific as you can, and it should come up with articles, and often those articles contain other links to more details about the topic that you're investigating. So I really like Investopedia just for a lot of financial knowledge. If you find yourself in a spot where you need debt counseling, student loan counseling, or help with budgeting on kind of a more intense level, there is a trusted national nonprofit called GreenPath. And we would highly recommend GreenPath as a trustworthy resource, especially if you're looking for debt management solutions. There's a lot of bad actors out there in that arena, and you need to have a trusted partner in that. GreenPath is a reliable resource. Investor.gov is a site that has multiple kinds of calculators, financial calculators, so many variations on learning about growth of your money, learning about debt, the cost of borrowing, different kinds of calculators, all on investor.gov. If one of your goals is about credit scores, I recommend MyFICO. You have to dig a little bit, make sure you're not buying anything, make sure you're getting good financial advice. But their credit score, this is the source of credit scores. And so there's accurate information about understanding how credit scores work. And then if your bank or credit union uses Savvy Money, I highly recommend that as well for any kind of credit education, understanding credit scores. That's Savvy Money. And I'm sorry, I didn't list that one on the slide. There are 4 sites listed here about salary research, finding out what's going on in your field, what's happening with incomes, what's happening with job requirements. So lots of different places that you can look to learn more about is my salary on a new job or on my current job in line with the market. And I'm a huge fan of books. And then I know lots of people that are huge fans of podcasts. So here are some that I've experienced or that I trust as far as reliable information. A lot of what we've talked about today actually is more the emotional side of money. And the books at the top, Happy Money, Dollars and Cents, Psychology of Money, they're all related to that emotional side of money. Us making decisions that on paper or on a spreadsheet may not look brilliant, but we make those decisions because we're human. So I highly recommend those books, especially Happy Money and Dollars and Cents. They're very entertaining. The podcasts tend to be, the ones that I've listed here are from trustworthy resources, sharing proven financial advice. So just be careful where you're getting your advice. There's a lot of information out there. Not all of it is accurate. Not all of it is helpful. I do want to thank you for joining us today. I'd challenge you to take a minute. There's still time on. You probably had booked an hour. We're a little shy of that. Why don't you take just a minute and write it down? Send yourself an email. Write out a sticky note. Do something. Turn and talk to your partner. Talk to your coworker. Do something that is an action step of, you know what, I really want to change my financial life in this area. Here's what I'm going to do. Is it researching something? Is it checking out a website? Is it drafting a preliminary SMART goal? What is it that you can do? Force yourself to do really soon. Maybe add it to your calendar. So I hope that is a challenge for you to take action on some of the things that we've talked about today. And as Sophie joins us again, I just want to verify, Sophie, that the slides will be available, or certainly they can watch the video again.
Yes. So everybody who was watching on YouTube, if you are interested in rewatching, or maybe you joined late and need a couple revisits to some of the content, it's immediately going to be posted right here. So as soon as we end this and hit end stream, you can just refresh your page and then the whole content will be available. But I just wanted to thank everybody for joining us today. If you have any questions, we'll hang around for a couple more minutes or so just to see if we capture any. But if not, I highly encourage you to remember that the Alumni Association and Canvas Credit Union are always here for you if you have follow-up questions or want to come to any additional events. I dropped our events calendar down here in the comments section. Know that we are planning for the new year, so we don't have a ton listed, but keep checking back there soon and you'll find some more details. And if you have any questions, yeah, we are happy to answer them. But otherwise, thank you for joining us over what many people have as a lunch hour, and go Rams.
Go Rams. And thank you, Alumni Association, for all kinds of interesting programming. I've done a number of things through the association, and yeah, sometimes it's cooking, and sometimes it's finance, and sometimes it's beer tasting, and it's all over. But thank you, Alumni Association, for all the interesting programming that you do.
Awesome. All right, everybody. Well, we will hang out for about a minute or so. So if you have questions, at least let us know that you're typing them in the comments, and then we'll wait for you. But go Rams, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks, everyone who's commenting. Thank you. We appreciate you. All right, looks like there's still 9 of us hanging out here. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments and let Nancy and I know so we can answer them or follow up with you privately if needed. Otherwise, we hope to see you again.